Welcome back to AFTV. Welcome to the Starting 11 live stream here at Box Park. We are back because sometimes you get a bit superstitious and sometimes, you know, you wear the same shirt after a win. We thought we'd come back to Box Park Shoreditch where we saw Arsenal destroy Real Madrid 3-0. I'm here with Kenya, I'm here with Dan, I'm here with Laurie, and of course we've got Cecil, Turkish, Lee, Robbie, obviously Robbie, all out in Madrid at the Bernabeu. So fan cams will come after that, but first we're going to talk about the starting 11. Real Madrid is out, Arsenal soon to come, and we've got a big game. If Arsenal just do the job, if they're sensible, they will be in a Champions League semi-final. Last night was almost the night of comebacks. Let's make sure tonight isn't one for anyone else either. Before we go into everything, I want to tell you about the amazing Match Bingo. Here's a little word on them now.
Shout out to Match Bingo for sponsoring today's Match Day Live.
Arsenal games can be stressful enough, we all know it, just ask Turkish.
And there's the smile.
But now, with Match Bingo, you can make every moment count.
It's bingo, but instead of numbers, you're tracking real match events, goals, bookings, corners. Here's how it works.
You get a bingo card with 15 random in-game events, and as they happen, your card updates in real time with bots to track it. Complete a row, two, or the full card, and you can win.
Tickets cost just £2, and you can win between £10 and £10,000.
Even if your team don't win, at least your bingo card might save it. Got to get involved in this. Today's featured game is live alongside ours, so you can get involved right now. And if you're a new player, deposit £10 and you get £20 bonus to play with.
The Match Bingo app is available on Apple and Android, so scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get involved.
You must be 18 or over and a UK resident to play, and remember, please gamble responsibly.
There you have it, and we are playing here as well, all of us. We've got our bingo card. I've got 3 cards actually, because I thought I want to give myself the best chance possible. Plenty of things. I need a second substitution to be made. I'm thinking that's looking pretty good. I'm needing any goal awarded during the 8th, 18th, 28th minute. That goes up to 38th, 48th, whatever. You get the idea. So the something 8th minute. That would be good. Let's hope it's an Arsenal goal, but you know what? I'll quietly, happily skip that one if it's a 0-0. There we go. I want clean sheets too. But everyone go play Match Bingo. The link is in the description below, or you can scan the QR code. Dan, you're playing as well. What do you need in particular?
Quite a few, man. 2 minutes of injury time I've got here. Free kick taken. Let's hope it's another Declan Rice free kick. I'll take that one. And then first substitution, right the way up to 4th substitution. There's so many options here, man. But get involved, people.
There you go. Everyone go play. As you can see, full house, £100, two lines, 25 quid. You can see all there on the app. Go play with us, and of course throughout the game we will be playing. But the important thing to know is it gets filled out automatically, so you can enjoy the match. When there's a break in play, throw, whatever, check in on how you're doing, and then as you sort of realise you're close to completing a line full house, you then start to think, all right, I'll keep an eye for those extra things I need. So go play Match Bingo with us. But as we said, I know we've got a full panel here, we need to get everyone else's thoughts too. I'm going to read out to you the Real Madrid 11, which has dropped early. Ancelotti didn't want to give any clues away in the build up to the game, but this time, and of course it refreshes as I'm trying to watch it, but there we go, I found it. So, Courtois, who's unbelievable despite conceding 3 goals, keeps his place. But they have made a change at right back. I'm going to shout out Nick J. Francis. We predicted this one in Tactical Insight. Lucas Vazquez does come in at right back, needing a goal, a more attacking outlet. He comes in at right back so that Valverde can come into midfield. Rest of the back four, Asensio, Rudiger and Alaba. Arsenal fans saw Bukayo Saka have a lot of fun against Alaba, but Fran Garcia, very attacking option. Perhaps they still want to go with the more experienced option in Alaba there too. As we mentioned, Valverde comes into midfield with Tchouaméni and Bellingham, Rodrigo, Vinicius and Mbappe. Unbelievable. In the front 3, we did a good job of it last time. Luka Modric, of course, comes out the 11 too. The bench, we've got Fran Gonzalez, Sergio Mestre, Modric, Goulet, Endrick, Vallejo, Dani Ceballos. And whatever Arsenal fans think of Dani Ceballos, this is a player that Real Madrid fans are very excited to have back. He's been doing well for them. Fran Garcia on the bench and Brahim Diaz too. So they've got players they can bring on. Laurie, we're going to go straight over to you before we talk about how you're feeling for the game or anything. Madrid have come straight out with this 11. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit, how can I put it? I was wondering whether they would go with Alaba. And myself and Kenya, we did a show during the week. We were talking about we can't expose them down that flank. And Garcia played at the weekend. They won that game against Alaves, I think it was. So we were thinking that they might make that change. We knew that Tchouaméni was coming in. So obviously Camavinga's out. But Tchouaméni coming in does bolster that midfield a bit. So, but other than that, it's pretty much what I expected.
Yep, Kenya bringing Valverde into midfield means we probably can't. I used the word bully in the previews to the first game, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, could we really?" But I think that's what we did. A little bit more difficult to do that with Valverde now in the heart of the team.
I think.
And Tchouaméni.
I think it's a really strong 11 actually. I think it's probably the best 11 they could have put out. They've now got Tchouaméni back, who's he's going to control the midfield, play as a 6. You've got Valverde, who's one of my favourite players. He just dictates the flow of the game. He's got the legs as well. Luka Modric, he's a fantastic player, but he doesn't have the legs anymore. We saw that in the first leg. Partey and Rice just ran rings around him. So it's going to be a really tough game. You see that they're very up for it. So naturally, I mean, the 11 is a great 11, but I still have faith that we can do our thing. If we're organised, then
very true.
Yeah.
Of course, no Camavinga because of his suspension.
Yeah.
Brack says in the comments down, we go boldly into war. And you know what? There's been so much media, so much hype, so many noises from Real Madrid. Look, I get it, right? If it were the other way around, we'd probably do the same. But it adds to you're not just trying to stop world-class footballers, you're not just trying to stop a team that won it 15 times. They're closing that roof, they're trying to make it loud, they're trying to make it intense, they're trying to make it hostile, they're trying to make it claustrophobic. And Arsenal now know the 11 they're facing up. Do you think it coming out a little bit early gives us a little bit more time to prep, or would we have expected it anyway?
I'm actually quite surprised with a couple of decisions there, I've got to be honest. I think there's some positives there in terms of where Real Madrid will be thinking. I think Valverde into midfield is an unbelievable player.
Yeah.
We're talking about exceptional footballer here, I think he's phenomenal. But again, at fullback for me, I think they've got weaknesses there. I'm not a lover of Vázquez, I'm not a hater of him, and I don't believe that David Alaba should be looked at as an absolute scrub because the guy's been around for a long time.
Agreed.
I think Saka can get the better of him, and I think that Martinelli can give Vázquez a tough time as well. But the midfield for me is where I look at it. Domination from Partey and Rice last time was the reason that we nullified the front three, if I'm honest, of Real Madrid. Because a lot of people will say they had individual quiet games, but the balls weren't able to get fed through to them. So I think we've got to do that again. I'm actually quite surprised they didn't go with Dani Ceballos because he's been brilliant for them from what I hear. And so I'm quite surprised with that. But Valverde coming in is no real shock, and it's probably made their midfield better, if I'm honest with you. So look, there's positives and negatives there, and I know, look, we don't know what our team is, but we assume we know what our team is. Therefore, I believe that Real Madrid will probably assume what our team is. So, yeah, a couple of changes, but nothing too shocking from Real Madrid, if I'm honest with you.
Do you think, Laurie, that Dani Ceballos is a little bit of a lesson to Arsenal fans? Because at Arsenal, in a struggling team, we didn't do well. And we've always said, would Real Madrid put up with this kind of calibre of player? Here he is actually being a player that Madrid fans want to see. But I apply that to now Ødegaard, who has given us probably 2-3 years of great form up until what's been a really poor season by his standards. But there's a reason to stick by, right? Should we not be learning from how quickly the opinions of footballers can change for good and bad?
Yeah, you could say that. With Dani Ceballos, I think he's one of those players, and we've seen this a few times in the Premier League, where foreign players come to the Premier League. We know that they're very talented, but they don't quite make it in terms of the physicality and the intensity. Just the whole aura of the Premier League sometimes proves to be, I wouldn't say too much because that'd be a bit condescending to say that, but you know what I mean, it just doesn't match up for them. It doesn't mean to say they're not a good player, it just means to say that the Premier League wasn't, so we've seen it with managers as well. So listen, he's a talented player, and yes, you are right in that. I mean, you're going to make comparisons to other players, but didn't quite work out Arsenal. Me personally, I'm relaxed about that. I think that's the way it is.
Taja with a super chat says he's on his way to Box Park right now, so we'll see you very soon. Taja, we got a lot of chairs behind us. I think we had 40 in the room last week. I think it's meant to be double this week. So we've actually decided to just go live before it completely fills up. And of course we'll be getting everyone's thoughts via, there'll be a vlog, there'll be the half-time show, we'll be passing the mic around in the build-up to the game as well. And if we win, of course, fan cams will be there either way, but whatever happens, hopefully we can celebrate with a nice win and capture it all here at Box Park. That's on my mind. Yes, I've just been told by lovely Ryan on production that we've actually got a photo of his mate at the Bernabeu to get an idea for this roof. Let's have a little look. Well,
do you know what?
Can't quite see the roof, but there's the Bernabeu.
Do you know what? It's funny that you mentioned the roof. So shout out Raul. I was talking to Raul, who's obviously a Real Madrid fan.
Yeah.
And I was saying to him I'm hearing you're closing the roof and that, and he goes, yeah, but we close the roof for every game. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, the roof is closed for every game. It's to amplify the atmosphere. So like you said earlier, it's a lot of psychological things to almost psych you out to think, oh my God, they're closing the roof. It's going to be so loud in there. They're doing all these tifos, but they do that every game. So if the players go into it and they're just like locked in, that shouldn't matter.
I interviewed a Madrid fan from Let's Be Real. Of course, they've done some content with AFTV as well. I was talking to Farouk, and I asked him. I said, "Look, if you've got a roof, great. I mean, that fair play. If you've got it, use it. If it's legal, fine." For a night like tonight, I get it. Shut the roof, evening game, you want to create an atmosphere. Imagine you're like, I don't know, 18th in La Liga. It's rainy, it's windy. You're thinking, right, the conditions are against Madrid. What a chance, maybe, never know. And they go, oh, we'll just shut the roof and chuck the heating on. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you got to think, is that really loud? I don't know. It's just a bit of a, I don't know. I'm surprised that there's a little bit of, rules on what you can, can't do. I'm being a bit facetious, but do you know what I mean? That's quite a weapon to have, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Listen,
well, not really, but you know what I'm trying to say.
No, you're right. Look, you've got to expect it, however, to be hostile tonight.
Yeah,
you've got to expect it to be intimidating, but I don't think that should scare us. I don't think that should be allowing us to go there with fear.
It shouldn't make any difference. It's just interesting.
The same team that we played last week. It's at a different ground. The crowd are going to make it incredibly tough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect anything less, James. I wouldn't expect them to come and go, I can't really hear the crowd tonight.
If a really rainy, windy night, I think then it does play a part because you're actively changing the conditions of the game. For something like tonight, it shouldn't really make a difference. But I can only compare it to listening to tennis players all the time complain about the roof closing on centre court.
Yeah.
When they're playing at Wimbledon, there's a little bit of rain. Often the tournament organisers decide they don't want to take any risks, so they'll go, right, we'll shut the roof. And it's much smaller centre court, to be fair. But I mean, if it's anything similar in terms of its impact, you're talking about in tennis, it slows the ball down, there's more humidity, you're sweating more, it's like you kind of hear the ball a lot more. I mean, again, it's a very particular sport, tennis, that's defined by really fine margins. I'm not saying it's comparable, but I just wonder whether there's any kind of impact. Does it get hotter in there? I just want, and I'm not saying this to create excuses. I'm just interested. I just find it really interesting personally.
It's just to psych you out, isn't it? You think about it, there's 11 of you, your fans are up in the gods, and there's about 70,000 Real Madrid fans, and they're all singing and they're dancing. And they're believing that they can come back. It's like, it plays on your mind. It's like, oh my God. At least with us, when we played at home, obviously the players talked about how much that the crowd and the atmosphere brought them up in the game and made them feel even more so to go and win it. So similar to them.
And let's be honest as well. You look at that Arsenal 11 that will likely start tonight. All of them now are full internationals, including Marz Luis Skelly. He's the youngest one, but even he has full international experience. So I'm kind of with Dan. They should be prepped for this. I mean, the vast majority of those players have played 100%. International football, played for big clubs, been in big situations before. So I don't expect them to be cowering just because the roof is shut.
This is what we want, right? We want to be playing. I wouldn't want to be going to this ground going, oh, hopefully it'll be quiet. Hopefully we won't know they're there. You know what I mean? The roof hopefully open, be lovely conditions for us, be beautiful. They're going to make it tough, man. I expect that.
People say they're more worried about the ref than the roof.
Exactly.
Maybe that's
I did make that point as well in the show that myself and Kenya did, is that the dark arts are going to come into play without a doubt today. So the players have got to be cognizant of that. Don't expect any favours from the ref. As soon as they put in tackles, they've got to be smart with the way they do this stuff because the Madrid players are going to be going to the floor, rolling around, putting pressure on the match officials. We've got to expect all that. We can't be complaining after the game that this happened because going in, you know it's going to happen. So they've got to be cognizant. Don't give away silly free kicks, fouls, you know what I mean, penalties, get red, yellow cards. They know what they're up against. There can be no excuses.
And I know you're all in the comments going, are we really talking about a roof? Look, we don't think it's going to make any major difference. It's just interesting. But there it is. I think it's interesting. It's that you don't see football stadiums with a roof. That's just not normal. I don't think it's going to have any major difference. I just find it interesting. Like, why did they find that necessary? There must be a reason. Like, imagine how much money that cost. There must be a reason why they thought. Well, maybe. But like, there must be a reason why they thought, let's spend the money to add that thing.
In a way, I don't blame Madrid because.
I'm not going to say they're wrong with it, but what's the reason to get it? There must be some kind of.
It's that atmosphere, isn't it?
They're trying to create a cauldron-like atmosphere. And in a way, I don't blame them. As long as it's within the rules, they're going to try and do anything they can because this is such a big game. But as I said before, James, we should be expecting this. The players should be prepped. The manager, I'm sure, they would have had meetings at which these types of things would be discussed. So, listen, there's no excuses for me.
No, absolutely.
Arsenal got to go in there. The mindset and the mentality's got to be right. And if it is, they should be okay.
Got some comments. Luke says Kenya is a brilliant addition to AFTV, and I couldn't agree more.
You,
Big up.
Kevin says, I hope the closed roof amplifies booing when we score. Yeah, wouldn't that be great to hear? I want to ask something, Dan. It's a really good comment that was made on a video. I can't remember which one. St James's Park, Anfield, and others, right? I mean, this Arsenal team have played in some atmospheres, you know. So I think focus on the team, because everything around you're going to be used to that. I can kind of, to a degree, forgive not being used to playing the best player in the world and the most decorated European club of all time. I can understand that being new territory for Arsenal to kind of come through, which I think you saw in the first leg. But if it's a case of we're wilting under the pressure of the crowd, we've been in this.
Look, what's the mentality like of this football team is my question. Right?
Yeah.
Because we have been put under pressure before. Even this season, it's not at the same magnitude, but when we went up against Manchester United, we weren't able to get across the line. That was a pressure game. It was a cup competition. It was a domestic cup, but I think majority of us wanted to win that. We see it as our trophy, the FA Cup. And then we had the semi-final already of the League Cup. And we crumbled in both those games. Let's have it right. So the mentality has been a bit of a problem at Arsenal over the last couple of years. Now, don't get me wrong, we've also been to other grounds and we've put in a really good performance. Even this season, if you look at the fixture pile-up we had right at the start, where we had Tottenham away, City away, Villa away, Atalanta away, Inter Milan away, Newcastle away, Chelsea away. We had all of them on kind of piled on top of each other.
We did all right.
Now, although we didn't win in all of them, we didn't really get battered in any of them. So I think what we've got to remember tonight is that we've got a job to do, and it isn't make sure you go and score 3 against Real Madrid. It's make sure you get through a tie where you're 3-0 up already. So mentally, this is going to be massive for the guys. Massive.
Totally agree. Now I'm going to just check in myself, but Hand of Arsenal, formerly known as Hand of Ozil, always spot on with transfer rumours, transfer news, and of course team news as well. He announced yesterday that Thomas Partey will be a part of the travelling squad to face Madrid, and he's now confirmed that Partey starts for Arsenal. And we assume it'll be with Odegaard and Declan Rice, the rest of the Arsenal 11 out in about 11 or so minutes. Laurie, how much of a boost is that?
I think it's a big boost because Partey has been one of our outstanding performers this season. To that end, I'm a little bit surprised the club have not officially offered him an extension of the contract. I gather they're talking, but anyway, that's a separate issue. But yeah, I'm a lot more confident with him being in the team if he wasn't in the team. So I think that's a big boost for us.
Kenya?
Yeah, I mean, the first leg he showed well gone, innit? He just turned up, he ran the game, do you know what I mean? He ran that midfield, he said, Camavinga, eat it, boy. It's Valverde, man, our business back then. Modric, I don't care. He just turned up and he did his thing. So he should start. He's proven that he should start, and then he scored against Brentford. I remember watching that goal and I was like, right, Thomas Partey like that, running like that. So fair enough.
Apparently he ain't got the legs, what some people say.
I thought that's what injured him.
Yeah,
to be honest, I thought, he sprinted. But
that was crazy.
I thought he did
great finish as well.
Yeah, it was a great finish.
And he starts again, and he's been, his fitness has been top.
Remember in the first leg as well, he had that great shot, that great long shot. Courtois was able to get, he kind of got hands on it. So he can get about.
And without wishing to sound too much of a fanboy, which I'm not, but we've got to acknowledge him. He's been playing at right back this season.
Yeah,
and
he's been at right
for the
back.
most part, he's performed well in that role too. So definitely one of our better performances this season.
Super chat with no text, but thank you from Nana. If you want to send a comment, we can read that out, of course. We'll check out the comments. Abdullah says, I think away at City last season was a tougher opponent. Why not set up in the same way? 0-0 is achievable. And I was quite happy with that 0-0 at the time.
I disagree with that super chat, to be honest. I think City are very similar to how we play. We're very possessive. We want to control the game. Not to say that Real Madrid aren't like that, but they showed in the first leg that they don't need the ball a lot to try and score. So I actually think if you sit off them, that's probably the worst thing that you could do when they've got all these technicians in the team. If you're allowing Valverde, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, Mbappe to dwell on the ball. That to me is like you're asking to be battered, in my personal opinion.
I've been saying that I think we tried to find a style of football a little bit too much in 90 minutes, and I go back to 2 performances under Arteta, away at Anfield, away at City. We didn't lose either. So it's the 2-2 this season. And I know the second half was what it was because of 10 men. Look at that first half. We were run all over the first 10 minutes, but we actually regrouped, and we ended the game. We ended the half going, it's a shame about that red because we're winning it. We're the better team. We went into half-time going, we have outplayed Man City at half-time despite the start we had. And then take us back about a year earlier to Anfield, December 2023. I think we might talk about it in a preview, I can't remember. But that game, again, we started really well. We got the goal through Gabriel. Salah equalises, and then basically all the way up to the 60th minute, we're on the back foot, we're under the cosh. And then we wrestled back possession, momentum. In both those games, I think Arsenal showed they could suffer without the ball, but get through, and they could also get on the ball and play, and actually swing the momentum. What I noticed, I think it was helped by the Rashford sub by Emery, was PSG, after sort of 10-20 minutes, it looked like Villa were going to score 1 goal a minute. They actually got back hold of the ball. And I think the importance of having Partey there is he's the one, with Saliba, I think, maybe Odegaard too, that are going to go, all right, we've been under the cosh here, let's just get on the ball and play. And I think Arsenal have shown they can do that away from home, Dan.
Yeah, I think they have. I think a lot of people have spoken about the system tonight and how we're going to line up and what they expect the setup to be. I think the style of play is going to be interesting, but I would replicate similarly to last week. I wouldn't go on this low block.
No.
I
wouldn't be like, come on in, let's make sure you got to score 3. We'll give you the ball, we ain't going to do nothing. We ain't going to come and have a go. I think we can have a go at them. I'm not saying go gung-ho from minute 1. But I'm also saying that keep it compact, keep it disciplined, keep it a mature performance. And we're a young side, but we've shown some mature performances over the last couple of seasons. I think you've mentioned some good examples of that, but I don't want us to sit back and give them the ball, because I think what we're doing then is saying, look, we ain't going to try, just keep peppering our goal and see if we can get free. I don't think that's the way forward. I think you've got to keep it balanced. And just to touch quickly on Partey, I totally agree. I think he's been one of our best players, definitely our best midfielder this season. I think he's pivotal tonight to how we dominate midfield. So for me, that's really good news.
Oliver with Super Chat says, the roof is for holding other events like concerts. And Oliver, it's a very good point. I hadn't thought of that. What I would say is, though, as Raul said, they've used it for football a lot. So I'm just wondering what the benefit is. But there we go. Scott says, sack Arteta if they mess this up. Nana, thank you for your Super Chat earlier, and you've sent another. And I've seen this a lot. Rice cooks better with the lid on top, they say. I've slightly tweaked the wording of yours there. But Nelly says, can't believe Ty is looking for trouble in Spain. I'm sure he's not.
Way. No.
Ty is there to enjoy the game.
Do you know what, James?
Yeah,
I was going to mention to you guys, how do you guys feel? Obviously, we've got 4 players tonight. Thomas Partey is one of them that could be suspended if we get through, God willing. Thomas Partey, Martinelli, Burin Timber, who's the other person? Declan Rice.
Yes.
I mean, how pivotal was their game to you guys? Like, what do they have
I don't
to
think
do?
they can play with that in mind. They've just got to focus absolutely on this game. But you're right.
Nothing else matters going through. That's all that
I think
matters.
Laura's completely spot on. I think we cross that bridge when we come to it. Now, look, if we somehow go 2-0 up in this game, at that point I start to go, right, nothing silly. You guys are in the semi-final. But there'll be a point where, am I basically saying, Rice, don't make a tackle when Mbappe's running out of back 4 because you don't want to worry about it, just take him down. Or, but just be sensible, because referees also like to turn our yellows into reds quite easily. So anyway, just be sensible tonight. Play the game we played at the Emirates in terms of off the ball, in terms of our aggression. I think we'll be all right.
For me, James, just to expand on that point, to me, it's you've got to keep the error count down tonight, and that applies to the way we play with the ball. Do not give it away in silly areas. Do not make silly fouls. They're just the in-game management is what it's got to be tonight. We're not expecting Arsenal to go out there and try and win the game. I mean, Real Madrid have to score 3. We don't have to score 3. So there's no need to be over-ambitious. But at the same time, as Dan pointed out, you can't afford to be too defensive, because then you just invite pressure on all night, which is not going to be wise. But I would say error count has got to be down. Keep unforced errors to an absolute minimum.
Comment from J Federer J, which I'm going to create. He says, wrong, yellows are reset for the semi-final, but actually...
so if you get a yellow in this game, you will miss that semi-final. I actually read up on it. You will miss the next leg. So, I was just looking at some of the Real Madrid players. Obviously, Camavinga's already suspended, but Endrick, Modric, Rudiger, Vasquez, and Vinicius Jr. If they get a yellow, they will also.
Yeah, but they won't be going through. So that's,
yeah, by the green. Yeah, you don't take.
That's it. That's immaterial.
But if they were to get a yellow, and that's another thing that's in their back of them, and they've got more pressure on them, they have to score 3, as you said.
So to clarify the rule, if you get a yellow today, you miss the semi-final, but all the yellows that have been built up to the end of this game are wiped in the semi-final, provided you didn't get one in this one that sees you miss the next game.
Yes.
Hope we've clarified that for everyone, which, by the way, stupid rule.
Yeah.
Why are we putting rules in to ensure footballers play less big games?
Yeah.
Why can't it be as simple? I came up with it. I mean, I don't know if this would work, right? But I just thought, why don't you just do, if a player gets 3 yellow cards in the space of 5 games, that's it.
Yeah.
If they get 3 in the space of 5, they miss the 6th. Something like that. Well, why does it have to be? I don't know. I think they're just doing anything to. Whatever, I could complain loads. Miss Melina says, much love, Kenya, Potsy, James, Laurie, come on, you Gunners. Melina, it's good to see you. Discover with Sim says, come on, you Gunners. We need to pass short and wide with our fastness up the wing. I believe the hold-up play is vital around the corner and up the wing. He's talking about the wingers a lot here.
Yeah.
I've got to say, someone's just said James is worried Kenya's coming for his job. I am.
He's getting a P45, guys.
Sometimes I catch a.
Getting a P45.
You've got Robbie's email address, I'm sure. So I'll be like, Robbie?
Email address? It's on speed dial, mate.
So, that's really thrown me off. Martinelli and Saka. Kenya, we'll go to you.
Yeah.
So people don't think that I'm worried about you stealing my job. Saka and Martinelli. Whatever we do, on the ball, off the ball, really attacking, go for it, defence, whatever, we can't be in a position where they are not going one with Vasquez and Alaba. That's too good an opportunity.
Yeah, you must. That's what I'm going to say. You must. You must rise. I'm looking at Vasquez and I'm like, won a lot, incredible guy, but he's getting on in age. Martinelli, who's fast and powerful, you should be trying to cook that guy at every opportunity. Saka, I know Saka's not like 100% in terms of he can play a 90, but Alaba's also someone who's had his injury issues. You should be looking at that like, wow. And he got the better half of him in the first game, basically. So much so that Jude Bellingham was having to come up and defend with him as well. So, this is a big moment for the wingers, and at the moment, Odegaard's not really doing what we know him to do. The wingers, we're looking at you to almost create all the havoc. Yeah. You should be looking at that back line, right? Like, there's an opportunity there. There's an opportunity to go down the wings and to score and to look at Marcus Rashford last night. He was incredible. Yeah. And it's because he saw Hakimi was getting really far forward and he took all of his opportunities. He got an assist. That's what we need to be doing. We need to take every opportunity. Don't take any of their weaknesses and, give them the benefit of the doubt. No. Yeah. You score a goal, the tie is basically dead.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. T Money says, big up Kenya, good addition to the channel.
Big you up, bro.
Saad says, James, I've got Robbie on speed dial too. Read the chat before I let him know. Fair enough. We are 1 minute away from the 11 coming out. So just to confirm, because I think I know where we all are with this, we're not expecting any changes, are we?
No. Well, but from changes, you mean from the Real Madrid game, not the Brentford game.
Oh, yeah, God, yeah, from Real Madrid last week.
Put that out there.
I honestly don't think I could even tell you the.
If I see that Brentford 11, I'd be gone.
I'm not sure I know it. I mean, maybe if I actually, but not off the top of my head.
I'm just not interested in that.
Yeah.
So for me, let's keep this team.
Well, what we know is that there were 5 changes and we drew the game and it wasn't all out. But everyone's focus is tonight, obviously.
100%.
Yeah. Just refreshing, seeing if we've got the team or not.
Is Ben White likely to be on the bench today?
I think so. He travelled with the squad. So, right, I've got the team.
You've got the team. Kenya, take it away.
Arteta names a bit. Right, sorry guys. Right, the team is David Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Kiwior, Lewis Skelly, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli and Marino. Same team. And the subs are Neto, Setford, Tierney, White, Zinchenko, Broziak, he's from the academy, Henry Francis, Trossard, Butler, Oyadeji, Gower, Sterling and Nwaneri.
There's players you can bring on.
Well, strongest bench we probably had.
Yeah, I was going to say there's some players you could bring on there. You need a goal. You could look at a winner or Trossard. Dare I say Sterling?
Yeah.
Nwaneri, you're losing control of the midfield. You can bring on Zinchenko, Tierney, and White to help see it out. Look, we know Berta's job, right? We know what he's got to do.
I think that's obvious.
For now, Listen, I don't really want more than 5 other players getting on that pitch. I'm hoping this team can do the job, and then you just wisely use the subs to,
I think substitutions could be a big part of tonight.
Yeah.
I think the manager has to be what I would call proactive rather than reactive. If there's players that are flagging, they're not having a good game, do not be afraid to hook them. Likewise, you can't afford to be too reactive and just respond straight away if things aren't going well. And so the in-game management, the tactics, substitutions have got to be spot on. That's a crucial area of the game.
Recap of the Real Madrid team: Courtois still in goal with Vázquez, Asensio, Rudiger, and Alaba keeps his place at left back despite Saka having a lot of fun down that side. Will it be a different game for him this time? Valverde comes into midfield with Tchouaméni, who is back. Camavinga suspended, he's out the team. Bellingham starts, and then the famous front three: Rodrigo on the right, Mbappe down the middle, and Vinicius on the left. I nearly got through it. Anyway, let's talk to fans and get their thoughts. Hey everyone, you're on camera, you know. Dini, go on, your thoughts on the 11.
You know what? Same as last week, let's run it back. Why not? Let's do it again. I'm happy with the 11. And I feel like this is an opportunity for all these players to start creating some of their own history. Because if this is the journey where we do go on to win a Champions League, then this is the making of it. It's closed. The Bernabeu. Roof on top. It's going to be hostile in there. So one thing I just want these players to do is to keep their heads, absolutely have fun as well, because Mikel's been drilling into them all week now. All week. This is what you got to do. I don't know how many speakers he's probably put around the training ground to try and get this atmosphere, but ain't nothing going to be able to replicate. I'm saying it's so crazy. But one thing I'm thinking of, and then I'll pass it on, but one thing I'm thinking of, what is he actually telling them in that dressing room right now? Because one thing I remember him saying on All or Nothing, he was talking about having a special night. I think it was the second leg of the Liverpool League Cup semi-final, this, that, and the other. So what type of team talk is going on in there right now? That's what's on my mind. But yeah, looking forward to the game. Big up everyone inside. Big up the chat. Let's have a fun night.
Yeah, let's do it. Go on.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the 11, mate?
It's a decent 11, man. We've gone for exactly what we should have gone for, man. You know, just like you, I can't remember the Brentford 11.
Yeah.
I was there. It was nothing but, you know, I thought we'd lose the first leg, or like, you know, not get battered enough, or at least draw at home. I'm so proud of the 3-0, man. You know, I think even if we lose tonight, I think the loss will be a loss enough for us to go through, or we'll draw here. You know, I've got a bit more confidence. I put £1,000 on it, you know, on us not to go through, but not in a malicious way, innit? It's going to charity, innit? I hope we go through. I'll cry about the money tomorrow.
Is this the bet you had with Robbie?
Yeah.
Payment plan, fam. We're getting you on the payment plan, fam.
Listen, I'm good. If I lose £1,000, we're through, you know. I'll take
£1,000 you've ever spent, I reckon.
You know, yeah, man.
Like I said, it goes to charity. Arsenal are through.
That's it, man. You know, it's like, I was watching that game. Obviously, I was too young and broke to go to it back then, but literally I was watching that game, and it's getting me into the nerves. If Barcelona are playing the way they are, we could play them again in the final. And last time we played them, we should have gone through. So we should have won, sorry. You know, and I just hope, like, if we do get to that final, it's a big ask against PSG, but, you know, I have a bit more confidence if we put all of our energy into this. You know, let's just hope.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's throw the mic over to Kwame. Let's get your thoughts, mate. Kwame, go on. How you feeling, mate?
Feeling good. I was feeling a bit nervous before, but after looking at the lineup, obviously, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it.
Yeah.
We didn't have the best of results on the weekend, but I think because the players had their mind on this game. This is the game where you want to become immortal in the eyes of the Arsenal fan base. So I really hope that Arteta, as everyone's been saying, has been, you know, having sharp words with certain players. Kivior, he had a decent performance last week, even though he made those mistakes. But I'm looking at their partnership. Timber was absolutely solid. He's probably been one of our standout players defensively. So I'm kind of confident with my defence. It's more the attacking where I'm looking at certain players now to step up. So Martinelli, he's going to be used a lot in that transitional play. Moreno, can he get a goal? And Odegaard. If anyone that I really want a good performance from is Odegaard today. But yeah, I have total faith in the team. Yeah. Let's go out and get it. Let's get the job done.
Let's do it. Got some super chats. Steve says Jude should have seen a yellow last leg. He says, can't remember what tackle that was for, but fair enough.
But then saying that, Miles some people argue that Miles could have got a little yellow for that little cheeky part.
There was a little something between them.
Yeah, it was a little cheeky, wasn't it?
Sean says, come on, you Gunners, look forward to the game. 2-1 to the Arsenal. Tony says, going to be one hell of a game. You need a 10 out of 10 by Raya, of course. I mean, we'll talk about Raya and every player's individual battles, performance, what we need from them in the watch long, which starts at 7:30 with kickoff at 8 p.m. Of course, UK time. I know you're all tuning in from around the world. I've got friends in Australia. They're getting up at 5 a.m.
Wow.
Getting up or staying up till? Which would you do? Anyway, they're getting up for 5 a.m. to catch the game, which I think kicks off at 6 a.m. or something their time.
Wow.
So fair play to everyone around the world getting ready for this massive, massive Champions League quarter-final. As we told you before, we are playing Match Bingo, basically in-game events. And on a bingo card via Match Bingo, they get ticked off automatically, and you can win up to, well, we've got £25 for 2 lines, a full house is £100. Go play on Match Bingo. We're playing it too. In fact, we'll play an ad at the end of this stream so you can get an idea for the game as well. But a big thanks to Laurie, Dan, Kenya, and everyone in the room. We'll be back at 7:30 for the watch long. Come on, you Gunners.
Shout out to Match Bingo for sponsoring today's Match Day Live.
Arsenal games can be stressful enough, we all know it, just ask Turkish.
And there's the smile.
But now, with Match Bingo, you can make every moment count.
It's bingo, but instead of numbers, you're tracking real match events. Goals, bookings, corners. Here's how it works.
You get a bingo card with 15 random in-game events. And as they happen, your card updates in real time with Opta tracking. Complete a row, 2, or the full card, and you can win.
Tickets cost just £2, and you can win between £10 and £10,000.
Even if your team don't win, at least your bingo card might save it. You've got to get involved in this. Today's featured game is live alongside ours, so you can get involved right now. And if you're a new player, deposit £10 and you get £20 bonus to play with.
The Match Bingo app is available on Apple and Android, so scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get involved.
You must be 18 or over and a UK resident to play, and remember, please gamble responsibly.
Baby, smile today, 'cause I've been a magic always. I don't like you better. So stick to, 'cause when you get there's nothing to hold. I don't like you better.